Several months ago, myself and a few of my friends were discussing the steady stream of fan art of one Ryza Stout. One of my friends put forth the question, why does she have the best thighs ever? I gave an answer that seemed to be a sufficient explanation. While perhaps not the most important thing to talk about, I do think that there is value in trying to dissect just what it is about her character design that has caught the eyes of so many, leading her game to be the fastest selling game in her series' 22-year-long history. The appeal of thighs can be separated into three sections: shape, texture, and accessory. These three aspects are a sort of thigh force. Shape is the simplest of the thigh forces to look at. The idealized thigh shape is a continuation of the hourglass figure. Where the hourglass figure focuses on the chest, waist, and hips, thighs are the result of the outward curve coming back in at a smaller angle, and what can be seen as an upside-down teardrop shape. This basic shape exists effectively by default for any hourglass with sufficiently wide hips, so on its own it's not an indicator of high-quality thighs. Ryza's design, however, goes the extra step in defining their shape with the presence of a thigh gap. A thigh gap is, well, exactly what it sounds like. It's a gap between the thighs. Ryza's gap incorporates the curviness of her thighs to make a small, triangular window in the center. Having this gap in her outline draws attention to it, and, by extension, her thighs as a whole. It's not a new concept, but it's implemented well. The next element of the thigh force is texture. Texture is what it looks like the thigh will feel like. It exists on a scale of soft to firm, with the two extremes of the scale being the ones that are considered most appealing. The firm side of the scale is for strong thighs, usually present in the growing appeal of muscle girls. They are the kind of thighs that we associate with the feeling of wanting those thighs to crush your head like a watermelon. The soft side of the scale is more associated with the idea of the hizamakura, or lap pillow, thighs that are soft enough to rest your head upon. Ryza's thighs, with her overall plumpness, fall into this category. And finally, accessory. This is a tad more complex than simply what she is wearing, and more so is how what she is wearing accents her thighs. This is where we get into the details of how all the parts of the thigh force work together to ascend her thighs to the heights of popularity they have reached. The most well-known way to accent thighs is with Zetai Ryuiki, or absolute territory. While commonly seen as the distance between the hem of the skirt and the top of a pair of stockings, it can also apply to that and shorts. Ryza's bright red shorts leave little to the imagination, ending just below where the Panchiro would be, not that they give any chance of exposure. This being the case, they show off much more of her upper thigh than a skirt would. The stockings then end just below the point where the thighs diverge after forming the thigh gap, further highlighting the area. The stockings also squeeze into her thighs, adding to their plump appearance, but this is just the beginning of the accessorizing. The white stockings are soon replaced with tall brown boots that further enhance the Zetai Ryuiki by adding a second overlapping territory. The stiffness of the tall boots also adds an element of pushing up her upper thighs, making them seem more plump and soft and adding to how much the stocking squeezes into them. But this is not the final form of the absolute territory. On her back, Ryza wears a yellow hoodie. This extends down over her thighs in a way that a skirt would, which leads to a different view of the Zetai Ryuiki. That greatly enhances their appeal. It is truly a masterful application of Japan's view of using clothing to enhance appearance in ways that lacking it would make them seem less so. This is why her special bonus Summertime Adventure costume seems lacking, as the hoodie adds a crucial part to the appeal of her character design. The exposed back and shoulder this brings also draws away from her thighs by making much more of her skin visible than before. But that does have the added effect of drawing attention to her chest, whose size has been overshadowed by her thighs. But then there's the final touch. Her red shorts also have two gaps in each side, accenting her plump hips, which, as I said, is part of what forms the thighs. This is a small detail that just serves to enhance them even further. Even outside the elements of her design directly connected to her thighs, the entirety of her design seems to work to enhance upon them. Her long legs and wide hips give them room to be expressed, and her chest, while not being focused on as I said, makes it so her figure doesn't seem too lopsided as it may have if she was only curved on her lower body. So there you have it, in so many words, my attempt to answer the question, so why does she have the best thighs ever? Thighs, while having a very strong fan base, have not been explored to nearly the extent that other parts of the body have. Still, it's hard to imagine a design that captures the appeal of thighs more than this, unless it's one that tries to do so with firm thighs. Thanks for watching my weirdly serious and seriously weird video. Thanks to Aiton slash Irisu Baka for letting me use that great Daidoji art. It really got the point across. Subscribe if you want to see more videos, maybe more like this. I've got a Twitch that I've been streaming on recently. And if you want to help me maybe make the money to actually buy Atelier Ryza, please donate to my Patreon. This channel isn't big enough for YouTube to demonetize a video like this.